Hey, what's going on, fellas? Hey, just wanted to say real quick, man, when you're tuned in, tapped in, and turned on, take advantage of that opportunity while your energy is high to try to get things done as much as possible. And I just say all that because I'm in a place where this weekend is Saturday right now, and I typically wake up between maybe 5 and 7. Usually, maybe earlier than that, 4:30, between 4:30 and 6, if I'm sleeping late. But I really enjoy Saturday mornings because, man, I just have an opportunity to plan out my week. I plan out um, the next moves, the strategies, the real estate opportunities, business acquisition opportunities, and then I get really clear about what the goal is going to be for the following week. And it feels really, really good to feel like you're going in the direction that you've set yourself in. Like in terms of, there's a lot of times where the things that you talk about don't necessarily happen, and it's just it can be devastating. It can be depressing. It can be hard to go through these moments. Um, but then when there's a little bit of clarity, that gives you a lot more of an opportunity to be optimistic, and that allows you to be um, cognizant of the fact that hey, you're gonna go through these challenges, and that's just how I feel right now. 33 years old right now. For the past, I would say 17, 18 years, I've been like really working. Somebody that at one point I just had 3 jobs, working 7 days a week, and that was in high school. Um, and I've always had this mentality where that lends well to that of an ambitious person. Um, and I've always thought, man, okay, if I can just do X, Y, Z, this will be great. If I could just get here, this would be great. If I could just do this, oh man, it's gonna be amazing. I'm noticing that with every single measure and metric of growth, the essentially the line changes to a bigger goal. You want to attack more and bigger opportunities, and you're never necessarily satisfied. I'm hardly ever content. I, 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 and I feel like it's a bit of a curse sometimes. Especially when you're a person that is creative and you want to do more than one thing. I really like the quote that Jay-Z said. He's like, we're not inflicted with that disease of doing one thing. Um, because as a human, in my opinion, we were born here, or we were put here to create. And now, as a creative person, that's just like the golden ticket of opportunity and permission to just say, hey, do whatever you can, do everything you can while you still have this opportunity. Um, and that's kind of how I feel right now. I'm just like, so many things are going on. Um, and just like Nipsey said before, like I feel like I'm speeding and I'm finna crash. I felt so Friday was one of the busier days that I had yesterday, and I realized that I'm continuing to realize that it's never going to slow down. There's always going to be some ebbs and flows and maybe some gaps in your calendar. But when it comes to making sure that you get things done, um, being accountable for people, being accountable for yourself and your actions, that's never gonna stop. Of course, that's not ever gonna stop. I'm saying this as a dude that's almost in his mid 30s, or I guess this is my mid 30s, or whatever. Um, but now I'm seeing more responsibilities than I've ever seen in my life, more resources than I've seen, and I'm trying to manage all of them. And I'm realizing that, like, no, not everything is perfect. Absolutely not. But then again, not everything is terrible either. And I think that's one of the keys when it comes to just trying to not necessarily maintaining, but trying to continue to progress in life. Um, so, just wanted to share the fact that, you know, when you're having these types of moments, when you feel good, you feel tapped in, tuned in, turned on, when you feel like, okay, I'm really getting some momentum right now. I really feel good about this business idea. I really feel good about this person in my life. I really feel good about, making this decision. This is how I'm gonna attack paid ads. This is who I'm gonna add to my team. I'm not gonna add anybody to my team. Actually, I might need to add somebody to my team. Can I add somebody to my team? Wait a second, that would be cool. How much does that cost? I can't afford it. No, actually, let me see if I can afford it. How much does it cost? All right, what sites allow me to check to see how much people's time costs per hour? Okay, Upwork. Oh wow, Upwork. That's cool. Fiverr. Okay, this is kind of cool. Oh wow. I'm just mapping out the thought process and the internal dialogue that we have as people that are creators, or that really just want to get to the next level, get to the next step. So then you take all of these steps filled with curiosity, but then you keep going forward. But why are you curious? Because you have a goal. You have a goal because there's something that you want. You have a goal because there's something that you want. So you set a goal. And then what happens? You ask the question, what do I need to get to? And then you start moving. Then you start moving. And then your intuition starts to take a hold of you. Your intuition starts to grab you by the shirt, by the collar. It just starts to control your life. To the point that it's almost not even you. To the point that you're able to transfer yourself into a different dimension. I think it was I forgot what show it was. It's like Quantum Leap or something. Those shows like where you could just there's some a wall of this water stuff or something like that, and the person just puts their hand over, and then they put their head in, and it's like a whoosh sound. Oh shoot! Wait a second, it's crazy over here. Oh wow, it's a new world. That's what happens when you set a goal and start walking toward it, and then you start walking it down, piece by piece, piece by piece. And that's what this is about. That's what life is about. Following your intuition, doing what feels right, what feels good, what feels right for you and your soul. Letting that curiosity, letting that beauty, letting that adoration for life, letting that move you toward the direction that you want to be in. Because if you ever find yourself in a situation that you didn't want to be in, you have to figure out how you got there. And if you got there in a way that wasn't necessarily aligned or congruent with who you really want to be, your real goal, what you're really after, is going to be some challenges. And it's going to be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that my life is like this. Couldn't believe it. long story short, I had a huge failure in my life, early 20s. Um, I'm in Air Force ROTC, got kicked out of Air Force ROTC because my grades in the Air Force ROTC class had to keep a 70 average, which in Air Force ROTC it should not be hard at all. And so, long story short, there was a change in leadership. The change in leadership that made the decision to kick me out. This person did not look like me. Still my fault. I'm accountable for that. I was demoted. Had to serve 2 years mandatory enlisted. Instead of being an officer where you're treated like a freaking king or queen in the military, instead of being an officer, enlisted. Okay, cool. I did that. Did my 2 years. I decided I want to be, you know what? I still want to be an officer. Tacked on 3 more years. Actually, tacked on 4 more years. I re-enlisted because I knew I wanted 100% of my GI Bill and not just, I think it would have been 60 or 80% if I was in only for two years. So then I was like, okay, well, I still want to do it. Long story short, didn't get an opportunity to be an officer, but I got 100% of my GI Bill. Biggest failure of my life. I'm still coming out with something. This is after 5 years. So after 5 years, served my time in the military. I was able to get out 1 year early because, I pretty much, because I asked. Had all these stipulations. Leadership said, yes, he's good. He can go, which is rare sometimes. Came out with the GI Bill. I said, I'm going to use this golden ticket of opportunity the best way that I possibly can. I wanted to make sure that that I could figure out how to get back. I'm trying to salvage my life. Had this huge 5-year setback. Let me get things going. I need to go to an Ivy League school. I don't think I could do that. With the GI Bill, I don't know. I have no idea. Went to school at Fordham, paid for my schooling 100%. Next, went to Columbia Ivy League school, paid for my school 100%. The transition between where I was and what I went through to graduate from the schools and do all this stuff, no matter what people say about education, that stuff is not easy. The classes, all that's not easy. And you go through it for a reason. It's almost an initiation to go through these things with other people, so you're building a network, and that was my goal. Did a lot of things that I didn't think I could do. Transitioned my reality because I would visualize and think about and obsess about the way that I wanted my life to become, the way I wanted it to become, and it wasn't. It was incredibly frustrating that I wasn't able to accomplish certain things, that I was basically failed a lot of things. But we got to keep going. You got to get tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. I think that's how the phrase goes. You got to get that way. And continue to protect your peace. Because when you protect your peace, get your 1 hour in the morning. Wake up a little bit earlier. Get your 30 minutes in the morning. Get your 2-3 hours in the morning before the day really gets started, before people start making a whole bunch of noise. Like, I'm obviously making this video with some noise in the background. People were up, but I'm feeling good. It's like 11:30. And my apologies if the audio is bothering you. But I'm trying to remove the resistance. And so when you're tapped in, tuned in, turned on, you have to protect your peace. Follow your intuition. And man, things just start to change. Just continue to follow your gut, follow your intuition. And I think that's how we can have an opportunity, at least get a shot at bossing up. All right. But before I go, I'll say this real quick. If you're in a situation right now where you're allowing other people to impact your decisions, and you're not doing things because of what other people feel, what other people think, what other people say, how other people talk about you, talk to you, do your best to flood your mind with positivity. Flood it. Because if you don't, all that other noise is going to erode your sense of self. So you have to get into your own bubble, your own head, you got to create your own world. Because when you do that, you'll see that the world starts to separate you from those things. Other opportunities come up, you got to work too much, stuff going on, you got responsibilities here, there. I don't got time to talk on I ain't got time to visit. Oh, I don't have time to do that thing that I used to do all the time. Dang. You know what? That means you're in the process of getting to that next piece. It's critical. Hey man, my glasses are crooked. My glasses are crooked because I think the bridge of my nose is like off, and so my glasses, no matter what, my glasses are always crooked. My fault, but yeah. So let's just keep that in mind as we continue to grind, as we continue to boss up, as we continue to get to that next level. Protect your peace. Stay tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and continue your ascent. That's the video for today, fellas.